For the next 3 Sundays, we are going to deal with a very, very important issue that I think that everyone should consider, a question that you should answer. And that question is, what does it mean to become a Christian? What does it mean to be a Christian? What do I have to do to become a Christian, to become a follower of Jesus Christ? What do I have to do? Please note that the issue we're dealing with should not be confused with what does it mean to be a Christian or to live the Christian life. What I am asking is, do you know for sure what it takes to become a Christian, to give yourself to the Christian life? Now, I will base this discussion and message on 3 passages of the Bible. And for 3 Sundays, we're going to look at them. Today, I'm going to look at what it does not mean to be a Christian. What it does not mean to become a Christian. How do you become a Christian? How do you identify yourself as a Christian? Let's look at those 3 passages very quickly. One is John chapter 3, verses 16 through 18. The other one is Romans chapter 10, verses 9 and 10. And the third one is Ephesians chapter 2, verse 8. But we can look also at verses 9 and 10. So let's look at it really quickly. But before we get into that, let me say it again. What does it take to become a married person? I'm not talking about what does it mean to stay in a marriage, because those are 2 separate questions. What does it take for somebody to become your friend? But then what does it take for them to remain your friend? So the question that we ask is going to necessitate different answers. So I'm asking the question, what does it mean to become a Christian? We hear it every time everybody says, I'm a Christian, or you identify with Christianity. Now let's look at John chapter 3, verses 16 through 18. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. For God did not send his Son into the world to condemn the world, but that the world through him might be saved. Whoever believes in him is not condemned, but whoever does not believe stands condemned already, because he does not believe in the name of the Son of God. And in Romans chapter 10, verses 9 and 10, if you confess with your mouth that Jesus is Lord and believe in your heart that God has raised him from the dead, you will be saved. For it is with the heart that you believe and you are justified, and it is with your mouth that you confess and you are saved. So you see, in John chapter 3, we hear the word saved. That's where we got the word saved from. And then also in Romans chapter 10, verses 9 and 10, we still say the word saved. To be saved is to be rescued. To be rescued from sin, to be rescued from hell, to be rescued from damnation, to be rescued from condemnation. So Jesus came in order that this will happen. Ephesians chapter 2, verse 8 says, by grace are ye saved. Again, that word saved. By grace are ye saved through faith, and that not of yourselves. It is the gift of God, not of works, lest any man should boast. So today, we will deal specifically with what it does not mean to be saved. In the year 2001, ABC, the American Broadcasting Corporation News, did a poll of Americans. And in this poll, they found out that 83% of Americans identify themselves as Christians. 83%. And most of the rest, 13%, have no religion. That leaves just 4% as people who are non-Christian religions. They're either Jews or they're Muslims, they're Buddhists, and the people here and there, the one that says, I can't say, I don't know, whatever. So when you look at that, 83% of Americans identify themselves as Christians. How did they become Christian? Now, when we read this passage, it's really important for us to pay attention to this. And I want to go through 10 things that do not make you a Christian. Okay, we're going to look at 10 things that do not make you a Christian. Number one, you are not born a Christian. Nobody is born a Christian. Just because you're born into a family that is a Christian family does not make you a Christian. Being born in a country that identifies themselves as Christian does not make you a Christian. Now let's look at both of these points real quickly. When you're born into a family of cricket players, you don't automatically become a cricket player. You yourself have to play cricket in order to become one. You don't become a basketball player because your father is a basketball player. You become a basketball player because you became a basketball player yourself. You started dribbling, practicing, doing this. That's how it happens. So it's ridiculous when people say, I'm a Christian because I came from a Christian family. Your family has nothing to do with your Christianity. They may influence you into becoming a Christian, but just because you're born into a family that is a Christian family, does not make you a Christian. And the idea that America is a Christian country is ridiculous. The idea that any country is a Christian country is ridiculous. Now, there may be some countries that are Muslim countries because they actually make it a law that this country is a Muslim country. But nobody becomes a Christian just because they're born in America. You can be born in America and be an atheist. You can be born in America and be a Muslim. You can be born in America and become a Buddhist. You can be born in America and become a Muslim. So you have to understand this. Being born into a family or being born into a country that claims to be Christian does not make you a Christian. Number two, you don't become a Christian by attending church. Unfortunately, there are many people who are going to church, but they are leading themselves slowly but surely into condemnation. Just think about it. If being in a church makes you a Christian, all the chairs in the church will be Christian. All the hymn books will be Christian. All the lights will be Christian. So just being in a church or going to a church does not make you a Christian. Number three, you received Christian baptism when you were born. This is very true. Like for me, when I was born, I was baptized in the Catholic Church. There are a lot of people that when they're born, they have this rite they call christening, and they take them to church and they sprinkle water over them, and they say, okay, now he's a Christian. No, baptism does not make you a Christian. It doesn't matter what denomination you are. You cannot find that in the Bible. Baptism does not make you a Christian. You don't become a Christian because you're baptized. You're baptized because you became a Christian. Baptism is an outward sign of an inward reality. Baptism is what happens to you when you actually become a Christian. After you have professed Christ, then baptism happens to you. Matthew chapter 28, verses 16 through 20 makes that real plain. And we're going to deal with that when we get to it at another point. So, point number 4. You are not a Christian because you are a good person. In fact, one of the evangelistic method that I like very much is the one that asks you, are you a good person? And most people would generally say, yes, I am. And then you ask them, have you ever stolen anything? Have you ever lied? Have you ever looked at a woman lustfully? Or have you ever looked at a man lustfully? And by the time you get to the 10 commandments, you look at about 3 commandments, they've broken all 3. So nobody is morally pure. In fact, let's even say you're morally pure. You're totally pure. You're still not a Christian. We heard a message last week about gossiping. And in fact, I think only myself and Shola knew that his introduction was a lie. But because even my wife was asking me, what did you do? Were you surprised? I said, no. I said, why will you ask me that question? I'm the pastor. Nothing will happen in the church without me knowing. I said, no, but it grabbed us because a lot of you, I saw your things on Facebook, say you were already looking at your email to see whether, they sent you an email. You see, we Christians, we are not perfect. It showed last week. Okay? We love good gossip. Now, just because you gossip, doesn't make you a non-Christian, but hopefully if you are a Christian, you will listen to the message from last week and you will gossip less or don't gossip at all. Okay, so the point that I'm trying to put out here is that morality does not make you Christian. Christianity is not a rule of morality. Christianity is not a code of moral conduct. Okay, so you can be nice, you can be good, you can be great, but you're just a great person. You're not a Christian. You can be morally, have a high standard of morality. You're just a person with a high standard of morality. You differentiate between right and wrong, but it doesn't make you a Christian. And some people say, well, I'm a Christian because I read the Bible and I believe in God. Well, they're both good. You read the Bible, but reading the Bible doesn't make you a Christian. Believing in God doesn't make you a Christian. Guess what? Even the devil believes in God. He knows there is a God. In fact, he talks to God. So, just reading the Bible or believing in God does not make you a Christian. And I'm going to talk a little bit later about that point when I get to the founding fathers of America. Number 6, you like Jesus and some of his teachings, and you also celebrate Christmas. How can you not be a Christian? A lot of people say, oh, I love Jesus. I love Jesus and I love his teachings. His teachings about love. I love his teachings about forgiveness. I love his teachings about joy. I love his teachings about loving your neighbor. I love his teachings about obeying your government. I love his teachings about this. But there are some that I can't deal with. And guess what? I celebrate Christmas. I love the story of Christmas. I love the fact that God came, and I go to Kmart, I go to different stores, I buy gifts for my friends, I celebrate Christmas. Joy to the world, the Lord is come. I don't know what it means, I just know it's a good song, and I sing it. And I sing all the other ones that were made up in Hollywood. That doesn't make you a Christian. You pray to God on a regular basis. That's number 7. You pray to God on a regular basis and you're deeply religious. Doesn't make you a Christian. Just makes you a religious person. And somebody who worships voodoo is a religious person. A Muslim is a religious person. A Buddhist is a religious person. Even an atheist is a religious person. So, just praying to God, and by the way, most of us pray to God. Even people in the schools who say they don't believe in God, when it's exam time, they all believe in God. They're always crying, God help me through this. So, praying to God on a regular basis and being deeply religious is not what makes you a Christian. Well, somebody may say, well, but I give money to the church. Well, don't waste your money. If you're not a Christian, don't waste your money. Don't give your money to the church thinking it's going to get you to heaven. Don't give your money regularly to a TV evangelist because you think that is going to make you a Christian. That is going to make you right with God. No, it won't. Well, let me see. I am married to a Christian. Well, let me tell you this. If you're not a Christian and you're married to a Christian and you think that's going to make you a Christian, guess what? You just lost on both counts because you just married a non-Christian. Because if you were to be a Christian, he would know not to marry a non-Christian. So if you're married to him and you're not a Christian, then he is not a Christian. Because he is going against the rule of God. Okay, so what about number 9? Number 9 is, that was number 9. Number 8 was you give money regularly to a church or to a TV religious program. Number 10, you watch a Christian program on TV on a regular basis and you say things like, God bless you. I am too blessed to be stressed. God is good all the time. All the time God is good. God is the creator. In fact, all these things our forefathers, our founding fathers believed. The founding fathers of America. But most of them were not Christians. All this Thanksgiving ritual and all these things, in God we trust, they were not Christians. Most of them are what historians call deists. They believe in God. They believe in God as the creator. They believe in God as all-powerful. But doing that doesn't make you a Christian. It does not make you a Christian at all. So let's look at it. There are a lot of things that we assume. Of course, there are probably more that people look at and say, this is what makes me a Christian. But if you look, for God so loved the world that he gave his one and only Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. We'll talk about that next week. What really makes you a Christian? God bless you.